A Brandon, Mississippi woman is behind bars and is accused of killing her fiancé earlier this week. At 12:06 a.m. on Wednesday the 15th of February, deputies responded to a home on Audubon Circle on a reported stabbing. When officers arrived, they were met by a woman at the front door who was described as very upset and asked them to save her fiancé. The woman, later identified as 23-year-old Ashley Tanner Shaw, led deputies through the house where they found a man with a stab wound to his chest. Deputies tried to stop the bleeding and perform CPR until medical personnel arrived. Despite the best efforts of the first responders, the victim passed away. Homicide detectives arrived and processed the scene. Based on the circumstances and evidence found, Ashley was taken into custody. 2 small children who were asleep at the home at the time of the incident were taken by Child Protective Services. Ashley is charged with murder and obstruction of justice. She's held at the Rankin County Jail and has been denied bond. Authorities did not immediately release the victim's name or what led to the stabbing. A Jensen Beach, Florida man is behind bars after detectives allegedly found inappropriate photos and videos of children on the man's electronic devices early this week. In the early morning hours of Tuesday the 14th of February, authorities executed a search warrant on the home of 32-year-old Jonathan Dibble. Investigators said that Jonathan, who's a janitor at Jensen Beach High School, was in possession of child porn, including hundreds of disturbing still and video images of children as young as infants. Detectives seized computers and multiple devices from his home and will continue to investigate the data on those devices. The Martin County Sheriff's Office released a statement saying they were working closely with the school district and made them aware of the charges, at which time the district took immediate and appropriate action. Investigators do not believe the children in the images are locally affiliated, and there's no evidence that the photos were captured using hidden cameras at area schools. Jonathan is charged with multiple counts of child porn possession, and he's been held at the Martin County Jail on a $2.5 million bond. A woman is behind bars after a shooting outside an Irmo, South Carolina grocery store left another woman dead. 23-year-old Christina Harrison is accused of fatally shooting 26-year-old Alexandra Boris during a heated argument in the parking lot of Kroger's shopping centre at 7467 St Andrews Road. The incident occurred at just before 4 p.m. on Tuesday the 14th of February. Alexandra had reportedly been shopping with her sister-in-law, niece and nephew, and had just finished packing the groceries away in a car when a dispute erupted between her and Christina. As Alexandra turned her back to Christina to walk away, Christina allegedly shot her. The area was packed with shoppers and traffic at the time. Officers responded to the scene on reports of a woman shot, and they found Alexandria unresponsive with a gunshot wound to the back of her head, and she was pronounced dead shortly thereafter. Witnesses were questioned and surveillance footage was reviewed. Investigators said that it appeared the 2 women did not know each other, and that after the shooting, Christina fled the scene in a white Ford. About an hour later, Christina turned herself in to police. Alexandria's husband Tyra Boris said that the shooting occurred in front of their 2-year-old child and an infant, who were inside the car. He described Alexandria as the best wife he could ever ask for and a great mother. He said he's now left with the burden of raising their son by himself. Alexandria was a cosmetologist and was considering a degree in nursing. Alexandria's death comes after her brother died 6 days earlier from a gunshot wound. Christina is charged with murder, unlawful carrying of a pistol and possession of a firearm during a violent crime. She's held at the Lexington County Detention Center without bond. The investigation into the matter continues. Almost 4 decades after a 13-year-old boy was fatally stabbed in Terra Alta, West Virginia, a man was taken into custody early this week in connection to the killing. On Monday the 13th of February, 56-year-old David Monroe Adams was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. Earlier this month, the Preston County Sheriff's Office took a second look at the murder of 13-year-old Jeremiah Jerry Matthew Watkins on the 12th of November 1985. Jerry was found in a shallow hole near railroad tracks with a fatal stab wound to his back. Preston County Captain Chichenell noted in the review of the case that David, who was 18 at the time, made a number of inconsistent statements about the boy's murder. As part of renewing the investigation, law enforcement conducted multiple interviews with David, and he eventually confessed that an argument started over a stolen bike, which resulted in Jerry being taken into a shed and murdered. David was living in Westover, a town about 30 miles northwest of Terra Alta, where the murder took place. He's been held on a $1 million bond and could face additional charges as the investigation continues.